I got a chap's deal price for it, like what was supposed to be a trade deal, and even then it was £3,600.
Yeah.
Which to me seemed cheap, because of course at that time I was being paid properly by people and I was earning money. People actually used to pay you for what you did then.
Yeah.
Boy, have those days gone. So I had the money. £3,600 seemed like nothing, particularly for an instrument like the Jupiter, which seemed to just be the ultimate. What else would you want
I think it was back then, wasn't it? It was the ultimate.
Yes, at the time. What else would you want a keyboard to do? Because at the time I was very sad about sampling and everything like that, because of course the only thing that would sample at that point, I think, that people were using was the Fairlight or the Synclavier, and of course you had to, they cost more than a small house to buy either of those. So it was like, sampling, no, it'll never catch on. It'll never catch on. No, who'd be interested in that? No. If you can't make a sound on the Jupiter 8 that you want, then you're just not worth anything. You're not worth your soul. You had to be. I think you had to sort of adopt this attitude of self-righteousness. I think, in the absence of money. That's what it was. But anyway, so yes, Highly Strung was almost entirely done on the Jupiter. The only other instruments I can think of that were featured with a Mini Moog, which did some of the bass lines, and particularly featured doing my kind of slidey fretless thing on Always Somewhere Else. That's the Mini Moog, and of course the Yamaha piano that they had a lovely C7 piano there, which we used. The rest is all Jupiter, and this lovely thing.
So, of all the work that you've done then with Steve, and talking about the keyword elements of that, I mean, is there anything of that you look back and say, to me that sound represents, or that keyboard represented that particular type of sound, if you like? So, if you could say, like, that keyboard, that's the Steve Hackett sound, is there anything that does that for you, or do you think it's all individual?
It's the whole combined sound palette, really, and it depends which era that you're talking about. I mean, I think if there was one particular sound which kind of dominated, well, it probably doesn't dominate, but feels like it dominates. Spectral, for example, is the box string thing, church organ sound. Which is which was a mod I did to it anyway. Just opened the lid up and tweaked some things and discovered it made that noise and went, ooh, I think if I can remember what positions I tweaked them to, I'll just add a little button on the front panel that actually makes that change. And subsequently, the later Logan string melodies, as they became, changed the name of the things, added the same mod, so you can do the same cathedral organ noise. But, that sound identifies that. I think on what identifies Defector. I suppose I think the vocoder. I think of the vocoder simply because that was the first album that I used it on. That's when I got that, and it kind of appears quite a lot on there in various guises. So I think vocoder for that one. Or when I say vocoder, I mean the VP330. Roland VP330. Not just for the vocoding, but for the string and choir sounds and everything like that. Keyword is the Lindrum. I didn't that completely. The Lindrum and the Prophet 5. Because the Prophet was my main polysynth on the Keyword,
and that was a beast.
And that was a lovely old thing that was. So that Air Conditioned Nightmare, all of that, all that's all Prophet.
Right. Okay.
And Highly Strung is definitely the Jupiter.
You're missing an album, of course, because you were involved on Till We Have Faces as well, weren't you? Or were you?
Every bit as much as all the others, yes.
So basically,
we went over to
what are your...
No, we hadn't got there. I hadn't got there because it's next.
Yes,
you're getting your timeline muddled up now. Haven't missed one out at all. We just haven't got there.
Okay, all right. I'll shut up.
So we'll go there then.
Let's go there.
Let's go
Exit
there.
stage left, pursued by a bear.
Right, so we'll go there then.
Till We Have Faces. Yes, Till We Have Faces was again a very interesting and different album to do, because we went to Brazil to do it.
Right.
And a large proportion of the stuff was written in the week before we went to the studio. It was only a week. this does seem weird when you say it, but we definitely didn't spend any longer than a week doing it. At the time, Kim's parents, who lived in Metropolis, had gone away, and they said that we could use their house, basically stay in their house. So we stayed in Kim's parents' house for the week, and we had to borrow instruments. Basically, we couldn't take anything over because at that time it was very difficult taking gear over into Brazil, customs and all of this kind of stuff. So I managed to borrow a Jupiter 8 while we were there, because again, gear at that time in Brazil seemed to be very in short supply. It was difficult to get hold of things, but Steve had a friend called Richie Court who had some of this stuff. He had a Jupiter 8, who lived, because Richie lived in Brazil. He's English, but he lived in Brazil.
Is this the guy who he actually worked on a couple of albums with? I think Steve collaborated on a couple of projects with a guy called Richie. Is that the same? I think it must be the same guy. Around about the same time.
Not that Richie, no. Not around then.
Okay.
If he ever did anything with him, it would have been subsequent to my involvement, but a long time subsequent, very long time. Richie Haven, as you're thinking.
No. Anyway. Yes, okay. Sorry about that.
But Richie very kindly lent us stuff, so he lent us a Jupiter 8. And there was a Juno 6 turned up from somewhere as well. I don't know where that came from, but that kind of arrived about halfway through the album. Yeah. And Steve borrowed a black Les Paul strung the other way. It was a left-hand build, and so it had to be strung the other way so Steve could play it right-handed. So I had the Jupiter there, and Steve had his borrowed guitar, and we just sat in the conservatory in the house and worked on the tracks. And then we went to a studio called Som Livre, which is SOM.
SOMLIVRE.
Yeah,
right,
that's the one. And recorded the album. And again, it was a rather strange situation because normally, you go to a studio in most of, Western Europe, and you'll find it packed full of gear. Well, not just Western Europe, pretty much anywhere really. You'll find it packed full of gear, all in the control room in the studio and everything. It's all just part and parcel, you say, right, you need these, need half a dozen microphones to mic up this, and need some effects, need a bit of compressor, need a bit of chorus or flanging or whatever. No, all there was in the control room, it was a beautiful modern studio, lovely, but all there was in the studio was just the desk and the monitors. That was it. Yeah. If you wanted anything, you had to hire it from the top floor. They had all of the stuff, all of the toys were in the top floor, all hidden, and at considerable extra cost. So even if you wanted a chorus pedal, which we both did, both Steve and I both wanted chorus pedals, so we had to hire them from the upstairs room. You're talking about a daily, hiring them every day for a month. It's just getting expensive. But that would apply to everything. If you wanted a compressor, have to get it down from upstairs. So that was interesting. But the guys that worked in the studio were great, really nice, lovely guys. Got on with them ever so well. And the percussion people that came in and did all the samba and other stuff, and Sergio and I forgot what's his name? He must have I've forgotten his name. I have to look him up. The two drummers. There was Sergio. And I want to say Louis, but it's not Louis. Where is Highly Bloody Strung? Where is it? No, not Highly Strung. Two F faces. Here we go. Sergio. Can't read it. Rui, not Louis. Rui. Yes. Rui Motta. I knew it was an Ui of some kind. But they were terrific. They were great. Great players, nice people. We had a really good really good time. Got a chap in, and also another chap called Clive Stevens showed up and played some wind synth on a couple of things. But it was a very enjoyable and very different time as well, because I'd never been to Brazil before, and all these sort of warnings about, never go outside with visible money, never go out, never have any jewellery or watches or anything, because you'll only get mugged and have them stolen. But I never got that far from the place at all.
What was the? I mean, there's one thing about that album. Once again, it might not just be the keyboard bit about it, but it was always the big thing about it was this ambisonic nature of it. What exactly was that?
I wish I could tell you with any accuracy. It was a forerunner to.
I guess surround sound.
It's another version. Well, there's been various attempts to give the all surrounding experience. Quadraphonic, obviously, being one of them. Ambisonic was another such method, and it was supposedly work best on headphones, but. It was basically you just made your stereo recording and then encoded it afterwards, or I can't remember quite what the process was.
But, so that's what it was about.
But it was, basically we were lent the system. Personally, I never heard it do what it was supposed to.
Well, I don't think it was. I've never heard another album
that
has recorded ambisonically. There may be other ones, but I've never heard one.
No, nor have I. I have never seen it credited as being used on anything else. The system obviously didn't take off, because otherwise it would be here now.
Exactly.
But I tried to hear the effect of it. No, it didn't work for me.
Right.
Whereas the Roland's RSS system, oddly enough, did work for me, but it didn't work for other people. They had, I remember. The first time it was demonstrated in public, they set up one of the trade shows, set up a soundproof room, and I was one of the demonstrators basically at the time. And we discovered that it seemed to be that of all the people that came into the room, the guys were just all going, nah, and the girls were coming in going, what's that? And it seemed to be a thing that girls.
Was it really that?
Girls could really pick it up. They were going, Jesus, what's going on? And the guys were going, can't hear it. It was obvious to me. I could hear it perfectly. It's going, it's really working.
Right. I'm going to cut you there because I'm looking at the time on this. Change disc. So how do I switch this off without erasing anything?
Press the
little red button again.